What's going on, guys? What's up? We are live on YouTube. If you don't know by now, I am Brian Daniels. I got my man over here,
So yeah,
Josh, the man
thunder.
Thunder Shaver over here. Just so you guys know, I will be reading your comments. We will see your comments. We can highlight your comments. So if you have a question about anything, I know, Josh and I, if you don't know, we're going to be talking about. We finally get to talk about our time with the Suicide Squad game.
Yes.
Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League. It's coming out in next month.
Yep.
Josh and I will. I'm sure we're going to plan on doing some streams on Twitch or
Oh yeah,
YouTube
for sure.
where we play the game. That's what we're going to talk about here. But we're also there might be some of you coming in. I'm getting some background noise on my end. Are you
I have
getting?
a heater, otherwise I will die.
Oh shit. Okay.
Mhm.
So we will be talking about Billy Mitchell also because, of course, the lawsuit ended several days ago. There was a statement put out by Twin Galaxies, which I'm going to go over that whole statement on here. So if you guys have questions for us, put them in the chat. We'll highlight them here on the stream. And Josh and I will answer any questions you have about anything really that we can answer.
Absolutely. I'll just keep myself muted when I'm not talking.
Sounds good. Before we get into that, though, I want to talk about our sponsor, ExpressVPN. So if you don't know what a VPN is, I'll pull them up here so you guys can see. So a VPN is essentially a virtual private network. You guys can see right here. This is our link. You can go to expressvpn.com/the next level. And what you'll be able to do is if you go to our link, you're going to get 3 months free on top of a 12-month plan right now by going to our link. That's our sponsor of this of our podcast here. You can enjoy, as it says there, blazing fast speeds, DDoS protection, and unrestricted access for the ultimate gaming experience. You'll be able to do that right now. It's really simple. You can sign up on our website on this website for us made by ExpressVPN here.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to give you the ability to prevent throttling because your ISP can sometimes slow down your connection. You get unlimited premium bandwidth. You can connect to a VPN server in one of 105 countries, which is amazing. You can also avoid DDoS attacks by having your IP address get leaked. You can mask your IP. That's what a VPN does. You get more access online. It also lets you do some pretty cool things like, you can access other countries' Netflix, Hulu, and all that stuff. So go to expressvpn.com/the next level. This is what it will look like. You'll be able to click this link here, and it's going to give you these options. So you do a 12-month, or I'm sorry, you can do 1 month at a time for $12.95. You can do 6 months for $9.99, or which, in our opinion, really is the best option. You can do 12 months. Plus, you get 3
Absolutely.
months free, which is 15 months, and you only get that with our link, and that's going to come down to roughly $6.67. So go sign up for that. Thanks so much to ExpressVPN for providing us with that. So, without further ado, you know what time it is. Josh and I
School time.
played the Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League Alpha, and the biggest unfortunate part about that was we were under a very strict non-disclosure agreement NDA. We couldn't say like really anything. We really thought the only thing we could say was that we played it, and that was it. And of course, Rocksteady, who are the developers of this game, you might know them for the Batman Arkham games, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight. They have been receiving tons of negative press lately about this game, saying, lots of people saying this game sucks, or people saying, oh, it's just another Avengers game. Well,
Dude, yeah, it's like passionately angry.
yeah, tons of people are not happy about this. So, however, Josh and I now can open up and fully talk about this game. And let's just say it, Josh, this is a fun fucking game, right?
A fucking fun game.
Oh man, we're both super excited. So yeah, you do play as all the you can basically choose which member of the Suicide Squad you want to play as. You can be as Harley, Deadshot,
Captain Boomerang is the only possible choice, by the way.
and then the shark. I forget the shark's name. Oh God, help me out, Josh. What's his name?
It's King Shark.
King Shark. That's right.
It's not even elaborate. How could you forget that?
Yeah. So, and what's great about the tutorial is you have to play as every single one. And it gives
Well,
you
that might just have been what they did for the alpha, because they said that
that
was
was
kind
it.
of like a special era. Yeah.
Yeah. Please keep in mind, by the way, that brings up a really good point. Everything we're talking about is within the realm of an alpha. So what we experienced may not be and probably will not be the exact same thing you're going to experience in the final build. So it's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. We got to make sure we
Yeah.
cover our bases here. So we're talking about within the realm of an NDA. So Josh was given an NDA, or what Josh was given a copy. He was able to share a code with me,
Mhm.
and so we both spent time within it individually by ourselves, and then we also played together as well. So I'll talk about my experience, and then Josh, you can go ahead and talk about your experience, and then we'll talk about what we experienced, together. So the alpha provides you with a nice tutorial area, which is set in Metropolis, right? I believe, yeah. And
Yeah, this one's in
yeah,
Metropolis.
yeah, and it just kind of guides you through each character. What I like about this is each character has a very unique move set and a very unique traversal system, which I really like.
Yeah, that's almost the like selling point of differentiating the characters, or at least it was in the alpha.
Was the different methods of traversal? Yeah, for
Yeah, it's
sure.
like, how would you like to move around? If so, pick this character.
Right. Yeah. The traversal was what I really enjoyed. I mean, you had everything from like Harley Quinn being able to use like the batarang thing, right? Isn't that what she did?
Yeah, she had a one of those like remote control batarangs from the Arkham series, and then
Yes.
it was connected to a
Yeah.
drone.
Yeah.
So then
Yeah.
she can control where the drone goes, and then she's got a grapnel gun too. Basically, she got a bunch of Batman gear.
Yeah. She like stole basically Batman's gear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. But yeah, the tutorial does a great job before it kind of makes you decide like, okay, which character do you want to play as? I believe I went ahead and stuck with Deadshot. Um. And he was my
Boomerang.
Yeah, boomerang. Boomerang's great though too. I love that you throw the boomerang and then that's where he goes.
Dude, it is in my opinion the coolest one out of all four of them.
Yeah, because doesn't he have like some of the Flash's abilities too?
So basically, what?
Like they took some of the abilities from them, right?
Yeah, they take the traversal abilities from like the Hall of Justice's trophy room. So
that's another
Captain,
area you explore in this alpha, by the way.
yeah, Captain Boomerang finds some like Doctor Sivana Speed Force gauntlet or something like that, and like attaches it to his boomerang. Goes, check this out, and then throws his boomerang in the area. He's like, oh, look at me, I'm fast as fuck, yo. You know.
I like the voice acting. I will say that like it almost sounded like somebody else played as Harley Quinn. Didn't her voice sound a little? I don't know, maybe. But then again, I haven't played a game with her
in a while. Yeah, no, because I feel like it was.
It's still
I never looked it up who it was, to be honest.
It's Tara Strong.
Is it Tara Strong?
It's still Tara Strong. She's the same one that did it in the other games.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah, because it's the same Harley.
Yeah, it's the same Harley.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, this is a continuation of that universe. By the way, for those wondering, this is continuing from that. Now, Josh, you told me that it's a continuation of Gotham Knights, right? Is it after that story?
I never played a lot of Gotham Knights, and a lot of people are like, "No, dude, it's not. Gotham Knights is its own side thing." So I guess I was wrong. Gotham Knights is its own side thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say because that's a whole
different
thing. Yeah.
I never finished the game, so everyone's like, "You're a dummy."
Yeah, I never finished Gotham Knights. I felt Gotham Knights was awful. Like I just and then people were saying that this is
another Gotham Knights.
It's not another Gotham Knights.
And see, honestly, I know it may seem dumb that the thing that I'm most excited about is that it doesn't fucking suck to move around, because in Gotham Knights it fucking sucked to move around. It was not fun. I was playing as Nightwing and just having a hard time getting from A to B.
If you haven't played Gotham Knights, you're not missing anything. It's a game. I don't know if I'm ever gonna go back and finish it. I don't even remember how far I am into it, but basically this game, though, the Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. Which, by the way, let's talk about that title for a second, right?
Right.
A lot of people are mad that you're supposed to go and kill the Justice League, but I mean, it's in the title of the game, so there's really
They're
no,
kind of front presenting, yeah.
yeah, like there's no real surprise. A lot of people are saying that this is disrespectful to Kevin Conroy. Um, where in my opinion, I don't feel that way. Because, well, let's talk about that section. You know which one I'm talking about. That section in the alpha.
The most fucking terrifying part of the whole
That was,
game.
bro. So okay, so I know, Josh, I know you've played and beat the other Arkham Asylum games. It was really cool to see it from a different perspective.
Seeing the other side of Batman,
And
just fucking not being there and then being there and then you're down. Yeah.
being the one he stalks instead of being the one stalking the prey, you are the prey. I think that was cool because, when you're reading, I know you and I both have read our fair share of Batman comics before, and we see it from that third person perspective as we're reading. And some comics you do read,
Right.
from the criminal's perspective. Like you'll see, like, there'll be panels where the criminals like looking in the background. There's Batman just kind of watching. Which, by the way, I don't know if you noticed this when you played. Did you notice that Batman does stalk you like from far away, in like on like some of the statues and stuff?
No, I never saw him. He was just there and I was down 4
Oh
times.
no. Oh no. So there's a part of the level that we get to play, and Josh and I played this together. This part, I think he had already played it, but um, I think you're in like the museum still, right? You're in the hall of
You're in the
Justice.
Hall of Justice, but it's like
Yeah,
a special museum part.
and there's like a museum part where you walk up to these different statues, and it basically tells you the backstory of what's happened already. So if for whatever weird reason you never played the other games, which, my God, play those first. Um, it kind of gives you a rundown of what happened to like Jason Todd and Joker and everybody else. And so,
First while on Batman.
yeah, and so then there's a part where like you hear Batman, and it's like because the Justice League are evil, basically. They're evil, right?
Well,
They're
they're brain controlled.
they're brain controlled, right?
Yeah.
By Brainiac, right?
Yeah, the big bad guy in this is essentially Brainiac.
This is the big bad in this game, yeah. So it's freaky because he stalks all 4 members of the Justice League and like takes you out one at a time, and it will have you switch to another, or if you're playing with other people, it'll just be them getting taken out, and then it takes you out as you're walking around. And it's freaky, and it was really crazy to experience that and be on the other side of like Batman stalking. And I will say that,
and you're just suddenly down,
and you just suddenly get taken out, and it's like, whoa, like, all right, now I'm the prey, not the one doing it. Like, because that's what we did in the other games, right? We were that person having to like stalk and swoop down and do all that. I really like the aspect that Batman's is in the world and seeing you from afar, and he's gonna be watching your every move throughout. Because I'll tell you this, I am ready for some fucking jump scares, dude.
I'm sure we're gonna fucking get them too.
I heavily anticipate, like when you and I play, we're gonna be in the middle of a combat, and then out of nowhere, Batman just kicks us in the face.
Your ass is mine.
Or we get like a batarang or something, or maybe like a trap or something, or something crazy.
Yeah, so like some bolos or something take us out at the ankles.
Yeah, like just for no reason, which adds a whole nother dimension to this game alone. And
fucking terrifying.
Yeah, just knowing that like he's out there watching your move and ready to strike from a distance at any time. But let's not talk about just Batman. I mean, there's still Wonder Woman. You have Green Lantern out there too. Flash is out there. They've all been controlled by Brainiac. I really like what they did with Flash. You see them all for the most part. They didn't really show too terribly much of Superman.
No, that's the big tease.
That's the big tease of how that's gonna play. And I'm very curious to see how the battles with Superman are going to play out with the Justice League, with the Suicide Squad. However, for me, let's talk about the graphics. This game was gorgeous. I think the game looks really great. Granted, this is not the final build.
Yeah,
It's not the final build.
they were still working on it. It looked beautiful.
Yeah, and I really like being able to see Brainiac like kind of taking over Metropolis. It's going to be fun just because we're not in Arkham City anymore. So it's going to be really, or I'm sorry, not Arkham City, but Gotham City. My bad. So it's going to be interesting to see how that aspect works. But I don't. This is not. I played the Avengers. I personally didn't care for the Avengers. I know you loved it.
Which I know makes a lot of people not want to trust me that this is actually a fun game.
Sure. I did not really care for the Avengers, and I played quite a bit of it. I don't think you and I ever played it together, did we? We didn't play Avengers together, did we?
I don't think so, no.
I don't think we did. But this game just feels different. And I know people listen, like, I am going to be the first one to criticize a games as a service game, and I get why people criticize them because, yeah, I mean, they tend to do shady practices and try to throw all kinds of microtransactions at you and things like that. And listen, when this
doesn't feel like that at all.
Well, here's the thing. To be fair, we did only play an alpha. We don't know what lies in wait in the full version. However, I know Josh and I are going to be purchasing the game, which means I need to pre-order it soon or get it taken care of. But
right, absolutely.
But you better believe that Josh and I are going to criticize this game if there's things that we don't like or aspects of the game we don't appreciate. I did like the fact that I don't think gear had really much of levels to it, did it? Like there wasn't really any level.
No, not really. There was just like, they have the whole rarity scale. I know my friend Brandon found a bunch of rare stuff.
Yeah.
Like whatever the top tier was. He's like, check it out. I've got a full set. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, oh, I'm done playing now. And he tapped out of the alpha like Sunday morning.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I played. I know when you and I stopped playing, or when you left, I kept going because I wanted to really like get a feel for the world. I did try a couple of the other characters. I think I played Harley. I liked Harley's traversal too a lot. Like that's the thing. Like when we talk about a game like Spider-Man, and a game that has probably some of the best damn traversal I've seen in like a superhero game.
Dude, the gliding was so fucking much fun.
And they built upon it in the gliding, which really reminded me of Batman. Was it Arkham City, where he had the really nice smooth gliding around. And I'm all for games taking from other games. I think that's a good thing. I think it's flattery, not necessarily like stealing an idea. But boy, they got the traversal system really well here. Like just being able to throw the boomerang and move to the
next. No, it's very fun.
It's very smooth, fluid. I'm excited to see where the story goes. People are saying that like Batman actually does die. I don't know. I mean, who's to say? I have no clue. If he does die, I mean, it kind of makes sense because Kevin Conroy has passed.
Conroy's gone. Yeah.
Who's really gonna fill those? Who's gonna fill those shoes? No one can.
David Hayter.
I don't think that this is disrespectful to Kevin Conroy, and I would like to think that Kevin Conroy, of all people, would know after playing this character for decades. I would like to think he would be like a good tell of whether or not this is disrespectful to such a beloved character that he plays. So, but we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. I love Samoa Joe as King Shark. That's so funny to me, dude.
Such a great performance too, out of nowhere.
Yeah, I recognized the voice, and then when you told me it was him, I was like, no fucking way. Like that's dope, dude. Like
bam, 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 bam.
I still need to watch the Twisted Metal TV show. I haven't watched that yet.
Dude, yeah, me too. No, I every time I'm thinking about like what am I gonna watch, I watch something else and be like, man, I should have been watching Twisted Metal.
Right? Yeah. So I don't know. But I will say that when this game does release, which I think is like February. Let me see here. Let's see, Suicide Squad. Let's see, Kill the Justice League. It's going to be coming out on February 2nd, so we've got a few weeks. We've got actually 2 weeks. It'll be
a couple weeks.
2 weeks from this Friday. So be on the lookout for that because Josh and I are definitely going to stream it. I don't know if
Oh,
we
hell yes.
we'll probably do a stream that Friday, won't we? On release night or something.
Yeah. Friday night's my stream night anyway, so I'm down.
Yeah. So we'll stream. So we'll play it that day, and then
Mhm.
you'll be able to hang out with us and play it. I don't know if we're going to do a whole entire playthrough. We might. I mean, it'd be kind of fun to check it out. But yeah, I mean, you know, we're going to be honest with our opinion. If we find something we don't like, we'll definitely let you know. However, we just wanted to say, like, the game was great. What we played, granted, it was an alpha. I just remember, like, I don't know about you, Josh, but I remember, like, encountering people online, and they were like, "Oh, this game looks like shit. It's gonna suck." And I was just like, "Man,
Yeah, dude.
if you
Like,
only knew."
This trifling thing behind me seems to only want to start roaring real hard, but I've got something to say, so I do apologize. But it's like negative degrees here, so even with the actual heat on, it's not on.
No, you're good.
Yeah. So I actually went back and forth the other day on Facebook with this guy for like a good 2 hours. See, the thing is I didn't have to go to work later in the day, and I don't know what this guy had going on, but it had to have been the corner of Jack and shit, because this dude just wanted to pick an argument with me, because the whole thing was that it was the article where it's like, hey, Suicide Squad, developer Warner Brother Games has lifted the NDA so you can talk about it. Like, good, because it seems like people that haven't played this game have all the bad things to say about it, and people who did play this game know how fun it is. And this guy's like, yeah, well, it's a live service game, so we can get fucked. And I'm like, okay, first of all, you can get fucked. You probably need it because you're such a cranky pants. Second of all, this game is fun. I don't care what anybody says. He's like, well, it's a live service game, so that just means they're just trying to rip us off. I'm like, dude, no. It is a 4-person live online campaign game. You don't have to pay money for anything. There's literally a law stating that they can't require you to pay more money to get through the game. Like, just get some friends and go. And then this other dude pops in. He's like, a lot of people, adult wise, don't have friends they can just hop online and play with. Just wait till you're in your 30s. And I'm like, dude, I'm 35. I really appreciate the fact that you think that I'm younger than that. That really flatters me. And then the other guy went back and forth. Dude's name is TJ. I'm not going to drop any last names. So TJ, I'm fucking talking dirt about you, dude. You're stupid. He just kept wanting to give me like just rebuttals about how this game's going to be so stupid. He's like, well, I'm not playing. I'm like, okay, then that's always been allowed. He's like, well, you're fucking stupid for playing it. I'm like, no, don't fucking yuck somebody else's yum just because you didn't like it. He's like, well, enjoy your microtransactions and, see how much you're laughing in a year when the game's at. I'm like, bro, I'm going to play through the storyline, do the story, and then probably put the game down and not pick it up again for a while. I understand there's going to be more DLC characters, so like that's going to be fun. But as far as like the actual game, I'm probably going to be done very soon after I finish the actual storyline.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, for me, there was so many people that I was just like, you don't know. My only response was like, you don't know how bad I want to respond to you right now. You don't know how bad I wish I could tell you about this game. And I know there's some that's like, oh, does he want to say how bad the game is? Like, no, actually not. I actually want to say that's great. And it's so funny too, because when Rocksteady announced, like, what was this, like earlier this week or something, that people who played the alpha could finally like basically open up about it.
Yeah, it was Friday.
It was Friday, okay. I think it was Thursday. I said, let us talk about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and I tagged like Rocksteady in it, please. And I'm like, they must have heard me because
thank you, Seth.
And they must have heard me because the very next day I just saw reports of like, you can now speak your piece, and I was like, fuck yes. And like,
the non-disclosure has been lifted.
And then Josh and I it's like Josh showed me the Kotaku article. I was like, fuck yes, let's go.
Yep, it's time. It's go time.
We can finally fucking talk about it, man. And so we loved it. We enjoyed it. We're excited. I'm excited to see what Batman's gonna fucking do to us. I'm ready for just some flat out like jump scares, or like there's gonna be a thing.
Batman's gonna fuck us up, is what he's gonna do.
You're gonna be traversing and you're gonna land on a rooftop, and Batman's gonna just jump out of nowhere in front of you and fuck you up, dude. Like, that's what
you didn't tip 18%.
I am hoping for all the good, all the good things. I just hope that I know this is a live service game or games as a service game, so I'm really hoping that we don't have a lot of bullshit microtransactions. But don't worry, we're going to be combing through this game with a very thin comb. All right, and we're going to peel this back and really take a look at what this game has to offer. We'll be looking through it. Don't worry, we'll be looking through it because
Absolutely, because I
yeah,
intend on having fun with it, and if I don't, I'll let everybody fucking know.
yeah, we have no problem letting anybody know how we feel, and that's what you can expect with us on the domain. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to us yet, I know a lot of you guys don't subscribe to us. I don't know what the hell your problem is. You need to you need to subscribe to us here on the domain, gaming, pop culture, and entertainment. Those are all the things that we cover. We cover video games, movies, TV shows, toys, comics, conventions, all kinds of shit is what we cover here on this channel. And thank you guys so much for helping us get to 1,600 subscribers. By the way, we appreciate you helping us cross that threshold.
Absolutely. And I just want to say about the toys thing, it's not just new toys, which I absolutely do. Papa gets the hard to find stuff as well.
Yeah.
But also, I find cool old stuff too, because I've got friends that own toy stores, and they'd be like, "Hey, do you want that Quentin Tarantino Crazy 88 figure?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, absolutely. Here's my money." And I talk about this stuff with you on. It's just so much fun.
Oh, yeah, we have a group chat. We talk about all this shit. So it's like, this is just stuff that we like to do, like talk about. I am going to plan on doing some more mom and pop stops. You know, those ones where we go to a different store. And
I need to show some love to my friends. Yeah.
Yeah. There's still several stores in Louisville I haven't ventured into yet that I will be doing some videos of. And then I want to bring back the nerdy thrifting. We haven't done the nerdy thrifting in like 2 years, and it's been too long. And I want to explain why we haven't done that.
It's time.
We haven't done that because, quite frankly, Raven and I, we love to thrift, and honestly, there just hasn't been really any good stuff that we have found. Like Goodwill has been severely disappointing lately, and I feel like they're kind of catching on to like the value of stuff they put out now, and a lot of that stuff they put on their website, and it sucks. So I've been going to thrift shops and being disappointed because I'm like, well, there ain't shit here for me to film. Like, there's nothing here for me to look at. So I get I call it a bust when I go to a thrift shop and there's like nothing there for me. So, but we're gonna go back, probably do that during the summer or the spring. Actually, it's just not the right time to do that.
Do some yard sales, man.
Yeah, we'd love to do some yard sales too, for sure. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna move to the next part of this conversation. We're gonna talk about a man named Billy Mitchell. Billy Mitchell is somebody that I have had I wouldn't say pleasure of spending time with. I got to know Billy Mitchell more than people that just watch YouTube videos may have. So if you don't know who Billy Mitchell is known for playing Donkey Kong and setting a lot of world records on Pac-Man. He has a movie called The King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters, which is it's kind of like a mockumentary, if you will, of the Donkey Kong community. It's about him and a guy named Steve Wiebe. I've not met Steve Wiebe, but I have met Billy Mitchell, and I have met Walter Day, who we've actually had on our podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Walter's a great guy.
Walter's a nice guy. I have no problem with Walter. Which, by the way, we do have trading cards. I have them somewhere around here.
Mine are on my cork board, which is right behind where the camera is.
But we do have a trading card we are officially a part of the Walter Day trading card collection. However, if you don't know the story of Billy, I'm going to educate you, and then we'll go into why this matters now. So Billy Mitchell claimed that he had set some scores several years ago and broke the world record in Donkey Kong for Twin Galaxies. And Twin Galaxies at the time was the #1 leaderboard for video games. You're good. And
I was saying #1.
Oh yeah. So he had some scores, and he had brought some scores with him and claimed that he had broke some records. Well, fast forward to 2018, when on Twin Galaxies, someone had investigated on the forums there that the scores, there was something not, the scores weren't up to snuff. They looked at the VHS tapes that Billy Mitchell provided, come to find out that the scores were in fact recorded on MAME. And if you don't know what MAME is a multi-arcade machine emulator. That's what it stands for. And it's basically a program you can use on your computer, your laptop, what have you. You can even put MAME on your phone now too. And it's an arcade emulator. So if you want to play, Galaga, Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, all of your favorite classic arcade games, you have the ability to do that, right? I even have it on my laptop. We can play stuff like I play Galaga from time to time on there. So somebody did some investigating and slowed down the tapes and the footage to show that the levels load in very similarly to that of MAME. So much so they did frame by frame. There's a YouTube channel here called Veritas who did a 4-hour-long investigation on this that I recommend people watching. I obviously don't watch the whole thing at once, but kind of break it up. I mean, if you want to, fine. I've watched some of it, and they slow it down and they show how this was very obviously done on MAME. Now, you're thinking, well, what's wrong with playing on a computer? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with playing on MAME? People play on MAME all the time. Well, sure, people do play MAME all the time, and there are actual records to break on MAME. However, when you're turning in these tapes or proof that you beat a record on an arcade machine, it needs to come from an arcade machine and not from MAME or any other
some imposters
official, right? Not official cabinets. So in 2019, which feels like forever ago, Billy Mitchell took. I'm sorry, no, it was 2020. 19. Billy Mitchell took Twin Galaxies to court because Twin Galaxies removed his scores from their official leaderboards. He took them to court for defamation, and they have been in litigation ever since until this week.
It's now over.
It is officially over, and I've had some conversations with Van Buren 20. If you don't know him, he's another YouTuber on here. He's got a great channel, and he was really close to Billy Mitchell until about 4 or 5 months ago, where he was like, you know what, Billy Mitchell's a liar. I've caught him in some lies. I no longer want anything to do with Billy Mitchell, which good for him, because there for a while, him and I did not see we're not on the same page. Because, my thing about Billy Mitchell, let's go back. I met Billy Mitchell in 2019. I've never really talked about this story before, so I'm gonna talk about it now. So how I met Billy Mitchell was I met Billy Mitchell by way of someone named Casey Ross. Casey Ross, which we have had on the Dragon Cast before, the other podcast we used to do. She's a playwright, and she wanted to do a play about Billy Mitchell. She'd heard about the story through, I think, her boyfriend at the time. And so she got in contact with Billy, asked if, hey, can I do like a play about your life? Because she wanted to do some sort of redemption arc for him. So she made this play called Arcade Fire, The Redemption of Billy Mitchell. I found out about it through, I think, our local Facebook page, like that you have for a community, you know what I mean? Like your community, like your town, whatever. And so my wife and I are from Indianapolis, and we lived in Indy at the time in 2019. So we found out about this, and I was like, hey, I want to go check this out. It'd be kind of cool. And I found out Billy Mitchell was there, and I knew all about the controversy. I was no stranger to it. I knew about it. And I was like, hey, why not meet him, right? That'd be kind of cool. So I went, watched the play. Good play, by the way. Really enjoyed it. It was funny. It's fun. It was like a big caricature of Billy Mitchell, which I thought was interesting because Billy Mitchell didn't really like when people made fun of him because it was the regular show.
Stop making fun of me.
Yeah, the regular show made fun of him, and they made his head really big, and he took them to court, and they ended up throwing that out. I know Josh knows what I'm talking about there. And
yeah, I know. I couldn't believe that was a real thing that happened.
He got big mad because when Billy Mitchell gets mad at you, he just sues you. That's what he likes to do. He sues everybody. So what ended up happening was I met him. We talked. I watched him play. I will say this: he's great at fucking Donkey Kong. He is good. Like
without a question, yeah.
yeah, like I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like this man doesn't know how to play Donkey Kong. Uh, I've watched him for, I would say, probably about a solid hour, almost an hour and a half in total of all the times I got to be around him, which I was around him in 2019 on four separate occasions. One was in Irvington for this play that I didn't realize Van Buren 20 was there, and we didn't really know each other at the time. But if you look at his channel, there's an interview he did while at that same place. So yeah, I talked with Billy Mitchell, and I try to give everybody a chance. I like to think people know that about me. You know, I didn't really know Billy. I knew really nothing
Mm-hmm.
about it other than what I watched in the documentary. And I love documentaries, and I'm a gamer, and I love video games, and I love arcade games. So I was like, let me find out for myself, right? And so I did. And I'll tell you what, man, Billy has a way with words that he can be very convincing, and I'll give him
Mm-hmm.
that. And I just at the time I was like, wow, I don't think he really cheated because I've watched him play. How many people on the internet criticize a person and then but not meet them, right?
Right.
Like, it's easy to make criticisms about anybody and then until you meet the person and then you're like, well, maybe I'm wrong. And I'm the kind of guy who I'll be the first to admit if I'm wrong about anything like that. So there for a while I was like, you know what? He doesn't sound like such a bad guy. Why would he lie about something so trivial like that? Well, at the time that's how I felt. Then you kind of you get to see the ego. And there were a few things like there was one thing we met at was it Indiana Comic Con, and he had a booth there and in front of the arcade area. So this was later in the year. I met Billy. I think it was like January or February of 2019.
Right.
And then later in the year was Indiana Comic Convention, whatever you want to call it. Um,
Yeah,
and
you can't call it Comic Con anymore. That's copyright.
yeah,
TM,
yeah,
sue the fuck out of
yeah,
you.
right. Um, but it definitely wasn't PopCon because he's never been at PopCon. But he was there and he had his merch table. He was there with his wife. So I met his wife. I met his son. We got Mark Schalt here. It's my friend Mark Schalt. Happy birthday, Mark. What's going on, Mark?
Happy birthday, Merc.
Mark Schalt is a fellow Galaga player and one of the best at that game. Somebody that I hope to be, I aspire to be. Said he manipulated a lot of people. He totally did. You're not wrong about that. But he just has a way with his words, and he absolutely is good at manipulating people.
Yeah, that's what it seems
And
like.
I will say, like, once again, he is he's undeniably good at the game. Okay, he's good. Like, he was showing me, like, this was at Gen Con the same year. He was at Gen Con. You are absolutely welcome, Mark. Absolutely welcome. You're welcome. Very, very welcome. I hope you had a great birthday. He was at Gen Con too, which a lot of people thought was weird because it's like, why is he at Gen Con? This is like a tabletop thing. But they do have video games, and they had an arcade.
It is still gaming, yeah.
Yeah, and he was there with Walter Day, and that's when I met Walter Day for the first time too. And so I remember Billy, like, he tapped me on the shoulder, and he was like, Brian. I was like, yeah. I turned around, and he's like, come back here with me to the Pac-Man machine real quick. And I walked back to the very back, and they had a Pac-Man machine in the very back. He's like, so he loved to show off. Billy Mitchell's a show off, by the way. If you don't know, the guy loves
He just looks like it.
He loves to show off. He was like, you ever wonder how I go to the bathroom when I'm doing a long run on Pac-Man? And I mean, yeah, no shit. How do you do that? Like, what do you do? Like, I mean, because y'all don't understand, man. Like, even Mark will attest to this. Like, when you're trying to get millions of points on a game like Galaga, these old games, you don't have a pause button. You don't.
It takes forever too.
There's no pause, right? And there's no pause. You cannot pause the game. That's especially you're not even allowed to pause the game when you're going for any legitimate record. So, of course, I want to know. And so he showed me this really cool trick. He's like, here, and if the ghosts go like this, I go like this, and I move the stick real fast. So, like, the guy knows. He knows he is good at these games. There's like, I cannot deny that. However, if you're that good, why do you need to cheat? Or why do you need to not necessarily, I wouldn't say necessarily cheat so much as why lie? Because he lied, right?
Yeah, exactly. Why?
He lied about he lied about where he played Donkey Kong at. It's very obvious. There's tons of footage out there. Veritas did almost, like I said, almost a 4-hour video doing like almost frame by frame of every single Donkey Kong level and lining it up with MAME and how it looks. My thing is like there were a few things that made me question. Like there was one time Billy made a bet with me over something, and then like I won, but then like he said I lost, and I don't remember exactly what it was.
Oh yeah, sure.
And I was like, okay, whatever. And then he tricked another person that came up to his booth about Donkey Kong. So I was just like, yeah, something's a little off about this guy. Does Billy Mitchell have that celebrity aura? Of course. He does. He has that.
He reminds me of like the one trench coat nerd kid that tells all the other trench coat nerd kids what to do. You know, they meet under the overpass and do their dance in that video. He's like the head of those kids. That's who he reminds me of.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He never really wanted to talk about what was going on with the whole Twin Galaxies thing. But he had me believe him, and I did. And I talked with him. We had met up quite a few times throughout 2019 before I moved out of Indy later that year. And I thought, I mean, my time being around him, he was a nice guy. I never felt that he was not a nice person. But then again, a lot of the people that seem like they're nice people are not really sometimes. So
facts.
I got to watching more of these videos because that's what I do. I like to find out for myself. And recently, Carl Jobst put out a series of videos about when Billy Mitchell was deposed. And if you haven't watched those current videos about Billy Mitchell's deposition that Carl Jobst shows,
I actually haven't seen any of the new stuff. I just read up about it.
Yeah, you totally should. So basically what happened was there was this, Carl put out a video about how at the Mortgage Brokers Convention, which is one of the 3 scores that was in question, that the piece of hardware that he claims he played on that was legitimate, the arcade stick wasn't original. And so that would refute Billy's claim that it was original, which it wasn't. That red arcade stick is not. It's an 8-way, not a 4-way.
Okay, and that changes a lot.
And that changes a lot because you can, anybody that knows anything about arcade, because me personally, like, what was fun was in 2019. Yeah, Mark, the red joystick. I'll read your other comment here in a second because I know you got a big one there. 2019 was a great year because I got to meet lots of really awesome people from the Donkey Kong community. I got to meet the current world record holder, Robbie Lakeman, which he's a super nice guy. Granted, there's a few things I don't like. I don't agree with his politics at all. That's a whole other story. But Robbie's a nice guy. He's the world record holder right now. I got to watch him play too. And that guy absolutely knows how to play Donkey Kong at the back of his hand, and he doesn't need to cheat or
for sure
anything like that. That's how I got to meet Mark Schult, who's in the chat right now. He's one of the Galaxies guys. He can put 1 million points up at a time. He's amazing. I met a few other amazing people as well in the Galaxies community. That was a great year for me to get to meet these people that I had only heard of before. I met Brian Koo, who is also in the Donkey Kong, the King of Kong thing. He's a friend of Billy Mitchell. I've met so many different people. And the arcade community can be toxic, like any other community can be toxic. There's toxic people. You know this. We know this in the wrestling community. There's toxicity. There's toxicity.
Oh my God, yes.
In the comic community, the Marvel community, there's toxicity. There's just any video game community. Oh my God. Toxicity.
The people that wanted to fight me tooth and nail on how unfun Suicide Squad is, even though I'm the one that fucking played it.
Right,
no, seriously, at one point in time, dude was like, when I saw a video, all it is running gun. It's basically third-person Borderlands with the Suicide Squad skin. I said, oh my God, you know what? You're absolutely right. I'm going to go ahead and just go ahead. We're going to go with the video that you saw and ignore my personal fucking experiences. You've opened my eyes today. Thank you for inviting me to your TED Talk.
Yeah. So there's toxicity. And so Mark Schultz brings up a really great thing. We're going to get right into that, okay? He says, what's crazy is that he did not get his score reinstated. It's on a historical database. He's still banned from TG.
Absolutely.
We're not on the official leaderboard, which brings us to this right here. Let's go over it. Actually, I'm going to make it wide so they can see that. So, well, there we go. Let me see if I can make it.
Read me a story, Dad.
See if I can't make it a little bit bigger for everybody to see here. Is that better? That's better. There we go. That's pretty good. Looks like it anyway. All right. So this is Twin Galaxies. You see we're on Twin Galaxies website. I'm logged in. That's me. So we have a statement from Twin Galaxies. And I am going to read the full thing. So here we go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Billy Mitchell's Donkey Kong score performances of 1,047,200, the King Kong score, 1,050,200, the mortgage broker score. We just talked about that. And 1,062,800, which is the Boomer score, were originally accepted and posted as record performances by Twin Galaxies based upon either videotape submission, live referee verification, or a combination of videotape submission and live referee verification. On February 2nd, 2018, Twin Galaxies Adjudication began investigating a dispute claim filed by a community member asserting that these performances were not generated by unmodified original Donkey Kong arcade hardware as required by leaderboard rules. On April 12, 2018, Twin Galaxies removed all of Mr. Mitchell's scores and banned Mr. Mitchell from competing on Twin Galaxies competitive leaderboards. This was centered upon a technical basis of what Twin Galaxies believed to be a demonstrated impossibility of original, unmodified Donkey Kong hardware to produce images shown in the videotape recordings of some of the disputed adjudicated performances. The basis for this decision was an independent investigation by Twin Galaxies supported by a series of detailed submissions, experiments, and analyses by Twin Galaxies and from the Twin Galaxies community, each with varying degrees of technical expertise and access to equipment. Now, here's the interesting part. So this is basically, these 3 paragraphs here are really just going like and telling the backstory, right? Which is essentially
just up front.
Like, he had these 3 scores. They were submitted. They were originally accepted and posted as recorded performances by Twin Galaxies, right? And then in 2018, TG adjudicators began investigating a dispute claimed by a community member. These were not, whatever, right? So here we are now, okay? Recently, right, on behalf, this is very important, by the way. A lot of people are missing this and not.
Oh yeah, the new stuff.
They're not saying this part. This is on behalf of Mr. Mitchell. I am sorry, but anything that comes on behalf of him, I'm not going to trust. Right? Mr. Mitchell, this is not a neutral party that Twin Galaxies and Billy Mitchell agreed upon to investigate. This is not a neutral party. This is someone.
I'm sorry, what?
On behalf of, I mean, come on. Billy Mitchell. And this guy is Dr. Michael Zaida, who he's apparently an expert for Billy Mitchell. And I'll share this real quick. You guys can see. This is him. Okay. Totally legitimate, completely legitimate website. I don't know. I'm sure it is. I'm sure this guy has no reason to lie.
Absolutely.
I don't think. I really don't. I don't think this guy has a reason to lie about who he is. I think he's who he is. Right. Okay. He's done all this stuff for reality, and I've read all this already. I read this earlier. I was researching this this guy, who he is, all this stuff. This is his site. You can go there, MikeZaida.com, if you want to look, or you can click on the section of the insert that I just showed. So Dr. Michael Zaida, an individual who holds a Bachelor of Arts in Computer and Information Science from University of California, San Diego, a Master's degree of Science in Computer and Information Science from the University of Massachusetts, Amherst, and, if he wasn't smart enough, a Doctorate of Science from the University of Washington School of Engineering, and who has been qualified as an expert by California and federal courts. All right, so he's smart. He apparently knows what he's talking about. However, let's not forget this is on behalf of Mr. Mitchell. Okay,
Right, absolutely.
not a joint.
The official source.
Yeah, not a joint coming together. Not saying recently, Mr. Mitchell and Twin Galaxies agreed upon a person to come and do this. No, this was somebody Billy Mitchell handpicked. Now, come on.
Suspicious at all? No, not at all.
Not at all. Not at all suspicious, right? We are supposed to, with Billy Mitchell's track record, right? We're supposed to just
trust. Oh, geez, yeah.
We're supposed to just trust that this guy, that no one, I talked to Van Buren earlier today, and I was like, because I woke up and I found out about this, and I was like, hey, dude, did you hear about this? He's like, yeah. I said, are you going to put a video out? He goes, yeah. He goes, I'm waiting for Carl Jobs to put his video out. I was like, ooh, okay. He's like, he's uploading a video now. I was like, all right. So I wanted to sit back and at least watch Carl Jobs' video, which, by the way, if you haven't watched his recent video, which came out today, and it also goes over all of this information, please do yourself a favor and go watch that video when you have time. My thing that I don't think Carl had mentioned, or maybe he did, is the fact that this is, because when I talked with Raven, my wife, she said she was initially like, well, this was on the behalf of Twin Galaxies and Billy Mitchell. They got this guy. And I thought at first I was like, yeah, they did. And then I went back, I was like, no, wait, they didn't. No, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
It says here on behalf of. That to me means he got this guy. He found this guy.
I mean, yeah, that's what that means to me.
That's what that means to me on behalf of Mr. Mitchell. And I mean,
he's speaking for, yeah.
Right, this is on Twin Galaxies statement, so I would imagine Twin Galaxies would not have a problem like saying we worked together or whatever. So let's read the rest of this because I haven't got to the underlying part here at the bottom.
Oh yeah, the important part.
All right, so here we go. We're getting to the really important part. So they concluded that the gameplay on the subject tapes could in fact depict play on original unmodified Donkey Kong arcade hardware if the hardware involved was malfunctioning, likely due to degradation of components. So if you go into this, and we'll click here, and we'll let this load, and I'll show you guys this document.
Absolutely.
So this is the Mike Zida document, basically saying, there are many people that have made statements, on the technological possibilities, what have you, basically saying that it probably was a bad VHS tape. Okay.
Which just makes me laugh so hard.
The component of aging, the board must have been old. Copies and it says here copies of videotapes. As they're copied, the visual artifacts often appear as second and third, and so on and so forth. Another issue,
right?
Whether the videotape heads were clean, did he clean? I mean, come on.
Yeah, a lot of nitpicky things.
And so then we just, go through this, and I've read most of this, and it talks about Neil Hernandez, which I've met Neil Hernandez, by the way. The photo that I have with Billy is of myself, and let me see if I can find that photo.
Yeah.
Of myself, because I know I'm going to have people that are going to say, "Oh, you never met Billy Mitchell."
You never met Billy.
I want to make sure we get it all out there. You know what I mean?
Oh, Billy, yeah.
I want to make sure it gets all out there. Let's see. Where's this photo? There it is. I'll do this. So that's me.
See?
There it is. There's me right there. Boom. So there's Billy Mitchell on the left. That's yours truly right there. And this was from February 7th, 2019. So you got the date, you got the photo, and then that's Neil.
I corroborated with your story.
You corroborated with it. This is actually a deep fake. We're just
absolutely just deep faking stuff.
No, but this was in Irvington. We all watched the play. I know Mark Schultz was there at one point. He watched it too. But this is it right here. This is when I met Billy. And yes, Billy is a tall man. So anyway, having said that, let's get back to the topic at hand here. So we saw this, right? It says, Neil Hernandez, blah blah blah, which Mark Schultz says here, Neil isn't an expert. I absolutely agree with that. There was, however, Mr. Hernandez experiment, which he claims he saw recordings of, blah, blah, blah. So, but here's the thing, right? Do you guys see what all this is? It's just words, man.
Words, man. Words.
Somebody said this, and I can't claim it because I wish I could have came up with it. All Billy Mitchell did, I'll bring this back up, on his behalf, you know what he did? He got a doctor's note.
I'm excusing Billy from PE today.
Yeah, right.
That's exactly what happened.
I'm excusing Billy Mitchell of being a cheater and a fraudster.
And a fraudster.
Where's the proof here? There's no proof.
Jeez.
Dude, I could have typed this up.
Yeah.
Right?
I probably did. They probably paid me to do it.
This is the level of silliness this is with Billy Mitchell. That's why people call him Silly Mitchell. There's a reason for that. Because this is silly. I promise you I was there the day Brian was knighted. He is a knight.
He is a knight.
I have a note. but no,
from Dr. Nick Riviera.
Okay, listen, I have a note from Dr. Josh Shaver.
Hey, hold up, I am a fucking doctor, all right.
But come on, man. Like, there's nothing here. There's no... Exactly. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree. Tons of bullshit.
So much BS.
So much bullshit here.
So much.
And it's funny because he's like, okay, so we go to this part. I asked Neil Hernandez to rebuild the converter. Where's the video? Where's the video?
Where's the video?
Show me that beautiful bean footage. Come on. Where is it?
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Roll that beautiful bean footage. I mean, seriously, do it. Where is it? However, Mr. Hernandez's experiment, which I saw recordings of. Where are the recordings, sir?
I mean, where? Please show us.
And then do you guys remember there was a video that Billy made where he said that he was going to be transparent and everything was going to come. He made it 5 years ago. You'll have to find it. I can't for the life of me. I'd have to go to YouTube.
I'm sure it's got some really upbeat music to it too.
He said something along the lines of, here it is. He said this. Do you guys remember when he said this? I'll pull this up here.
We're here at the Midwest Gaming Classic.
Midwest
I'm here with Old School Gamer Magazine. They're recently in the media.
Hold on.
The fact of the matter is, now there is a true professional due diligence being done to investigate things that happened as far as 35 years ago.
Okay.
In a professional manner,
hits.
We will show that everything that has been done, everything was done professionally.
We will show.
According to the rules,
yeah.
According to the scoreboard, the integrity that was set up.
But you didn't.
Not 2014 forward by the current regime who wants to reach back 35 years.
But you reached...
Everything will be
But you reached back 35 years in your settlement.
Yes, he did.
And we're going to get to that now, right? But he says here in this that we're going to show that we did everything by the books and not back to 2014, 35 years ago, but to now. But you didn't do that. And here's why. Let's go back to this statement. All right. So we read the underlined part. We showed the quote unquote doctor's note that's supposed to be the end all be all proof, which doesn't prove anything. Anybody could have wrote that, honestly. He could have went to like fakedoctornotes.com. That's a real place, by the way. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did not know that.
You can there's a website called fakedoctornotes.com, and you can pay money to have a fake doctor note to get out of work.
I didn't know that, but I'm not surprised.
He could have got a better doctor's note from that website that would have looked way more legitimate than this. And by the way, I want to make sure once again, because you never know who's watching or listening, I'm not refuting that this doctor doesn't know anything or isn't smart. I'm refuting that words are not proof. Words are not evidence of anything. They don't tell you anything, especially when you say there's a recording. Where's the recording? right? So anyway, let's keep reading this. Twin Galaxies is committed to ensuring fairness for all parties and to allow and consider any new information that becomes available. In addition, Twin Galaxies seeks to disclose all and any evidence so that individuals can form their own judgments. To this end, Twin Galaxies openly and publicly takes note of Dr. Zaida's expressed expert opinion in regard to providing a method by which the videotape content in question might have been produced. Twin Galaxies' mandate is to verify that submissions meet verification guidelines, not to investigate how they are produced. This latter area remains available to experts such as Dr. Zaida and other interested parties who may examine and assess these matters for their individual purposes. Twin Galaxies takes no official stance on the creation of submitted content, but can recognize and acknowledge Dr. Zaida's expert opinion. Notice how they say opinion. Let's be real here. They very clearly say this is an opinion.
And yeah, I mean it's pretty much stated there.
Right. So, moving on, this is what Twin Galaxies is doing. And this is the most important part.
It's the part that makes me lol.
And it's hilarious. In fair consideration of the expert opinion provided by Dr. Zaida on behalf of Mr. Mitchell, and consistent with Twin Galaxies' dedication to the meticulous documentation and preservation of video game score history, Twin Galaxies shall heretofore reinstate all of Mr. Mitchell's scores, but as part of the official historical database on Twin Galaxies' website. I love this, by the way.
Mark's now your victory sucks.
Opinion, man. Exactly. Now you're probably wondering, like, what historical database? I didn't know they had a historical database. Honestly, I didn't either, and I half wondered if this was just something that they made to, appease Billy Mitchell, because I didn't know.
Sounds like it, yeah.
If that was a thing. Now, before we get to the rest of this, I want to show what Billy Mitchell said, because he had a statement. This is Billy Mitchell's state. All right. So he said this 9 hours ago on his Twitter. He said, Twin Galaxies has reinstated all my world records for my video game career. Here's my statement. Let's see. Today, January 16th, 2024, Twin Galaxies has reinstated all of the video game world records. Not all of them. That I achieved in my career, effective immediately. Twin Galaxies statement on its website reads in pertinent part, and we already read this, right? I am relieved and satisfied to reach this resolution after almost 6-year ordeal and look forward to pursuing my unfinished business elsewhere. Never surrender, but you did surrender. Billy Mitchell.
Quite hard, too.
So anyway, I want to share something with you guys. So as part of the official historical database, let's click on this. Let me show you what this looks like. All right. I did do a whole video about this, by the way. It's more of an abridged version for those who maybe want to, watch this later. I did do one. It's our new
right
here on YouTube. But this is the historical database. And it reads as follows. This section of the Twin Galaxies website hosts a historical archive of the original score database, not the current one, copied verbatim from the system obtained during Twin Galaxies acquisition in 2014. Serves as an unmodified legacy snapshot, preserving performances and achievements predating the current Twin Galaxies ownership and modern adjudication protocols. As a matter of archival integrity and providing continuous access to records under previous administrative standards, this database remains static and sealed. No new submissions or alterations can be made. Only original scores and titles retained as they existed upon ingestion in 2014. It stands as our commitment to custodianship of gaming's antiquity. However, you can submit review scores on the live modern version, which is not this, right?
It's something completely different, yeah.
Database here, and if you click on that, you'll have the whole list of games. Okay, so here's the historical database. We'll go through it. You can search, and we can go to Donkey Kong. I'll do it all in real time, right? Complete transparency. So we go to that. That's the MAME where they really should be. However, you'll go here and you'll do hammer aloud, which is where he's at. We're going to pull this up and you'll see it's very faint, but you can see right there. 1,062,800. And that's the score. Now, the funny part is they did not put the other scores because back then, of course, it's a leader, it's a high scoreboard, so they're not going to put like every score. They're only going to put your highest score. So his highest score at the time,
the highest,
was 1,062,800. Okay, at the time, and then this is back before Jace Hall, the current owner of Twin Galaxies. This is before he owned it. He bought it in 2014. He picked it up in 2014. So these are the records at the time. And to be, to let you know, these records were adjudicated in a completely different process. This even includes, I think, like Todd Rogers is on here, and he's a known cheater.
Oh yeah.
And so, I mean, there are known cheaters that are on this list. Okay, like if we looked up Todd Rogers, I'm sure he's on here. Let's see, Todd Rogers. We'll search. And Todd Rogers is a known cheater, and he's on here. I believe it's Todd Rogers, but he's on here too. So I mean, there are people that are on this list that have cheated in the past. So I mean, you've got
right, correct.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just he's a known cheater. I believe the game he cheated in it was an Atari game. I'm trying to remember which one it was. I think it was Dragster or something like that he cheated in, or was it Freeway maybe? One of the two. But he's on here. And his records are up here. But he also has been known and been called out for cheating too. So really,
which is something apparently we have to look out for more often.
Absolutely, and he is not included in the normal database. Now, for those who are wondering, what's the normal database look like? I'm glad you asked because I'm going to pull it up for you.
Because now we're going to look and see how different it is.
So let's pull this up. So this is Galaga on the NES Classic. Okay, the one thing that's great about Twin Galaxies is you can do submissions for various forms of a game. So I'm a big Galaga player. I love Galaga. I play it on arcade.
Right.
I play it on the NES. I play on the NES Classic. So you can see right here, I'm third. That's me.
Bickety bam, Brian.
Undisputed. If you even wanted to, you could click on it, and it's going to go here, and it's going to even show you. You can watch me getting third place, right? You can watch the performance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really amazing. And it's been, voted on. There's rules that you have to follow and all this. Now, what's Donkey Kong look like? Well, I'm glad you asked, because we're going to look at Donkey Kong. So we're going to take a look at Donkey Kong. And we're going to look at the modern list. Okay. So we're going to pull up Donkey Kong, and we're going to see, is Billy Mitchell, is he on the current list? The one that actually matters. All right. So here's Donkey Kong Arcade.
Yeah.
We got 140 records. We'll look at that right now. And there's Robbie Lakeman. I've met him, watched him play. Fantastic player. He is the current record holder on Twin Galaxies. He's got 1.272,800. 1,272,800 points. Number one. Okay. He's had this record.
Oh, yeah, number one.
All right. So the score we're looking for, and I'll go back, and I'll show that. We're looking for any one of these scores. So we're looking at 1,047,000, 1,050,000, and 1,062,000. Okay. So let's go back. So keep those numbers in mind, right? Because now we're looking at the modern. You saw the archive.
Right, yeah.
It's vastly different, right? Very different looking archive, right? Now, we're going to jump back This is the modern. This is what it looks like now. This is the same page where if you and I wanted to achieve a high score and we wanted to submit it, and we got
Yeah.
and it was passed, this is where it would go, just like the one you saw of mine for third place on the NES Classic version of Galaxy. Okay. I'm glad we all agree. I'm glad we all know this. Great. So let's scroll down.
Yeah, absolutely.
We said we were looking for 1 million. Let's see, the first one would be 1 million. Well, honestly, it wouldn't even be the first one. It'd be the highest one, because that's the one. Remember how I showed you guys earlier? The highest one's the one that counts. It's going to go up there. So if we're going to look for any of them, it'd be the Boomer score, which is 1,062,800. Well, let's see. 1,062,000. Let's see. Let's show more performances. It's going to show the rest of the list. And it'll eventually pop up. All right. And let's see, 1,079,602. Wait a second. Where's it at? Yeah, 1,072,000 and then 1,059,700. It's not there. You know why it's not there? Because it's not a legitimate score.
Oh.
Because it's not legitimate.
How about that?
So the other ones aren't there either. We can scroll down.
And they're just
ones,
not going to find them. We're not going to find them.
1,047,000, and then the 1,050,000. They would be like right there, and they're not there. Right.
Right.
I'm sorry, I clicked on the wrong one. Whoops. Did it go away?
It is gone.
Hold on, let's go back. But you saw. You saw.
I did. I saw it with my own eyes.
I have no reason to lie. He's not there. Like, anybody can look this up. This is public information. If you have a computer, you have no excuse. There it is. Here we go. We're back. There it is. See, none of the scores are there. They're not there. Oh wait, I pulled it up on the wrong screen. I'm an idiot. Here we go. There we go. They're not here. Because they're not legitimate.
Gone.
They're not legitimate. Now, having said that, let's go back to the statement page. And Twin Galaxies posted a comment down below. Now, you have to be logged into their website in order to see comments.
Right, absolutely.
I think any additional comments should be just publicly be able to see, and you have to respond to them to log in, or log in to respond to them. So if we keep going, you see a lot of people.
I mean, yeah, I think that's a great idea.
A lot of people are not happy. See, like Data God said, this is complete bullshit. You know. Here's Twin Galaxies. And here's what they said. In case there is confusion, is Billy still banned from Twin Galaxies competition? Yes. Are Billy's world records going back into the main leaderboards? No. We just showed that they're not there. Has the opinion of Twin Galaxies changed?
Confirmed.
Donkey Kong scores? No. Twin Galaxies has no problem acknowledging that there is an expert out there that has a different opinion than the one Twin Galaxies has. We very much believe that it is important that people are aware of all the information so they can make their own judgment. If people have questions about what the expert has to say, then they can inquire with that person. On the Twin Galaxy side of things, nothing has changed, except that we are excited to have the old historic database publicly available so people can see what it used to be. That's something that Twin Galaxies should always have. And I agree.
I do agree.
And I asked the question, that's me, you know, who won the lawsuit? I've not read anybody's responses yet. My opinion, and I said I was me being displeased, of course, but so going back, we'll go back to a more fuller screen of the two of us here. So you saw the information. I mean,
it's all there. It's pretty cut and dry.
It's what is there to argue about? I mean, I know Mark's met Billy. I've met Billy. He seems like a nice guy, but he definitely is a shady guy. And there is a lawsuit still going on between Carl Jobst and Billy Mitchell. So Carl Jobst did say in his recent video that yes, he is going to take it all the way to court. And the thing is like this,
absolutely.
This was actually set to go to trial, I think, in a few months. So it makes me wonder, like, who settled it up first? Did Twin Galaxies decide to settle up first, or did Billy decide to settle up first, knowing that he probably would not win the case? Now, what I think is quite hilarious is Billy's taking this like it's a victory, and you know,
Yeah, he really has, and it's not.
That's his pride and that's his ego, because he has a massive ego. His ego is as big as the head from the regular show at this point, and that's probably why he got pissed off about
Art. Life imitates art.
Yeah. My thing is that you know, it's not really a victory. When you look at everything I presented to you and the way I laid it out there, this is not a victory. This is the furthest thing from a victory. He didn't win. I mean, if he wanted to say, well, I got my scores on Twin Galaxies in some way, okay, fine. You got them on there. But if I wanted to put up a Donkey Kong score, I wouldn't have to be like, oh, I got to beat Billy Mitchell, because Billy Mitchell's not there.
It doesn't matter.
Billy's not on the actual legitimate scoreboard. And don't let anybody
not anymore. Not ever again.
Don't let anybody ever try to tell you that Billy Mitchell's on the actual scoreboard. He's not. He's on the scoreboard. Here's my thing, and I've been saying this, and I know Mark will attest to this. If anybody wanted to, if someone was out there to challenge me, say I broke the Gallagher world record, right? Which I think Armando has it again. But say I broke the record for some reason. I broke it. And I had Mark, Armando, and a few other people challenge the legitimacy of it, which I would welcome.
Right, absolutely.
I would want my peers too, right? Because like I'm not going to look at myself as I'm the only expert here, because that's the difference between some of us and Billy Mitchell is he acts like he's the only expert here, right? It's not that he doesn't recognize like others, like
absolutely.
He's recognized Robbie Lakeman before. I mean, I've met both of them at the same time. I've had conversations with both of them at the same time in the same space. But for me, like if my scores weren't legitimate in some way, I would welcome any and all to challenge a legitimacy of my score. Hell, I have a third place score. If someone wants to challenge a legitimacy of that, please, by all means, we can have a conversation if you want. I don't have a problem with that. However, if it got to the point where I felt like I was being defamed by people, and especially the site that took my scores down, and I took them to court, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to settle for anything less than to have my scores on the actual leaderboard. Why would I settle?
This is still an L.
Like, why would I? This is the biggest piece of the puzzle that doesn't make any sense to me. Is if you're going to settle, why would you settle for less than anything but the legitimate leaderboard or the actual leaderboard right now? Wouldn't you want to be able to say, hey, can you beat my score that's up on Twin Galaxies?
I mean, yeah, it kind of feels like he just gave up and said, okay, sure.
Like, wouldn't you want to encourage people to because here's the thing, like for me, and I've never really seen Billy Mitchell do this. I've never really seen in all the spaces that I've seen him play in or interacted in him with, him being encouraging of others at being good at the game. Because it's kind of like he feels threatened.
Oh, that's dirty, yeah.
Yeah, and me, like, you know, when I go to an arcade and I see people play Galaga, Galaga's my favorite game. I love that game. You know,
yeah, for sure.
Play, you know, I'll ask him, hey, if we can play doubles or we can play like 2-player or whatever, you know, I'll try to give tips and stuff because I don't want to gatekeep it. I don't want it to be like I can only be good at this or I can only be so good at this game. And I'll say, like, with the exception of a few people in the Galaga community, everybody else that I've ever met or interacted with, like Armando, Jordan Dorrington, Mark Schalt, which I've had Jordan and Mark on the Dragon Cast before, and we talked Galaga and arcade games. If we need to do again sometime, we need to have you guys on here again. That'd be fun.
Right, absolutely.
We have a whole Facebook page dedicated to like a community where everybody's welcome to come in and post up scores and have fun with it and help each other out. Cause like, it's not a gate kept thing and we're not going to gatekeep.
No, not at all.
We're not going to gatekeep Galaga. And I feel like, you know, Billy Mitchell's only thing was ever having a high score, which is weird. Like, and so that brings us to what Mark Schalt just said.
That's the peak.
Is this the end of Billy going to conventions? How can he spend this? You know what? I don't think this is the end. I think this is really going to just make him want to do it more. Because the thing about Bill Mitchell is he is not going to hide. And like he sees this as an absolute win. He sees this as, well, I got Twin Galaxies.
It's a lose. It's an L.
I got Twin Galaxies to put my scores up on their website, period. And to him, it doesn't matter. It's almost like, you know how a person can be infamous? Well, I don't care. They're talking about me.
Yes, absolutely.
It's that. It's that. He's one of those people that he doesn't care. Like, I mean, I can't say he doesn't care because he's sued people before. But to him, it's like, I don't care. I won. They settled, or somebody settled. Now, we don't know.
Right. That's a win.
Mm-hmm. We don't know if there was any monetary gain here. We don't know. I'm sure there was, maybe in some way. We don't know if Twin Galaxies had to pay Billy. Hopefully not. I hope they didn't give him any money, because he doesn't.
I hope not either. I didn't read anything about any money.
But I saw so many people like Dave Portnoy of Barstool Sports on Twitter saying, "Congratulations,
yeah,
Billy. You're awesome." And I commented, I'm like, "You're congratulating him for being on an archive? Like, okay, but he's not on the current one. Like, the current one's the one that matters more. That'd be the one anybody would want to be on."
Right, absolutely.
And I just showed that. So for me, it's, some people, no matter how scummy they are, and we know this because we live in America, no matter how scummy, I'll leave it at that. No matter how scummy they are, people are going to follow them to the end of the earth. And of course, that's not going to change with a guy like Billy Mitchell. He's going to have someone. He's going to have fans. He's going to have people that are just going to worship the ground he walks on, and never going to, and for whatever reason, they're not going to want to not be his friend because of whatever gain, which I think is weird. Like, you saw me, I gave him a chance, liked him at first, and then
yeah, absolutely.
That's that. He's scummy. And so, I don't know. That's just weird. I don't think he's going to stop going to conventions. I don't.
No, not at all.
I mean, it didn't stop him from going to conventions while he was under litigation. He hasn't stopped really going to conventions with all this footage out there of it obviously being MAME that he played on. So he's not. How is he going to spin it, though? Like I said, he'll just say, well, I won because my scores are now on Twin Galaxies' website.
Yeah, absolutely. He's an archived champion.
They're on there in the archives, along with Todd Rogers and other people who have cheated too in the arcade community. So I don't see how anybody can still defend this guy. I know there's going to be people out there who are going to defend.
There's someone to defend everyone, dude.
Yeah, I can already think of several names I'm not going to mention here, but I know they're defending him.
We not invoke them.
But what's that?
Lest we not invoke them.
Yeah, let's not do that. But yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Like I said, if anybody ever wants to challenge legitimacy of my scores at any time, please do so. And like I said, if my scores were as legitimate as Billy claimed, I would settle for nothing less than to have my scores be included on the actual current leaderboard. I would never settle for anything less than that. And he did, which is weird. I didn't think he would, but
I mean, hey,
that's what leads me to what are the terms in this settlement? Because if he settled for that, it makes me feel like he got paid, and that's why I kind of feel like he got money. But
yeah, probably
we're never gonna know. I don't think.
No, probably not.
We're never gonna know, and it is what it is. Wanted to let you guys know we're gonna wrap this up. And we do appreciate you guys for joining us here to talk about Suicide Squad for a while. We went in depth into the whole Billy Mitchell ordeal. And like I said, please go and watch Van Buren 20's video from today. Go watch Carl Jobs' video from today. Mudahar from Some Ordinary Gamers posted a video too. I'm waiting on Charlie Penguins to post a video. Has he posted a video yet? Yeah, he posted one an hour ago, so I know I'm gonna watch when I get off of here. Curious, he's been looking into it.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know if Tipster has posted a video. I know he's been covering it too. Does not appear to be the case. He'll probably do a live stream, and he likes to go live and talk about this stuff like how we're doing right now.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, thanks to Mark Schultz for being in the chat and hanging out with us. And Mark, we got to get together sometime. But
yeah, appreciate your feedback.
We need to have you, Jordan. We got to get Armando, and we need to have a big arcade talk and do a whole episode about arcades, because man, I know Josh loves arcades. I love obviously arcades.
Absolutely, dude.
And I hope you enjoyed your birthday, brother. Hope you have a good one. and just some programming. So I kind of touched on this slightly. I am going to try to break the world record for the NES Classic Galaga at some point this year. So be on the lookout for a few streams. And those will probably end up being on our Twitch. I'll just set up a camera in front of my TV or go live and do some stuff because it's going to be on an NES Classic. So
Right, yeah.
we'll be doing some streams. I'm going to try to break that record. The current record, I think, is like almost 300,000.
Oh, you got that, man. No big deal. That's a small number.
299,300. So I got to try to beat Matthew's record, which has been up since 2019. So we can do that. We'll see what we can do. Hopefully we can.
Right, anyway, that's a tiny number. No big deal.
Yeah, Mark. We'll schedule it in, brother. We're always looking for guests here on the Next Level. By the way, if you're wondering, this podcast is essentially just the podcast version of the Domain GPC. We cover it all here. We love having guests. So if you happen to be strolling through watching this video and you catch this portion, if you work in the video game industry, you're an actor, you're on a TV show, you're working on a book, maybe working on an independent film, what have you, and you want to come on and talk about what you're passionate about with us, all you got to do is you can shoot an email over to bdaniels@thedomaingpc.com. I'll go through it. We can schedule a time. And we normally record on the weekends, but this is kind of a big special deal because I know Josh and I wanted to talk about the Suicide Squad stuff. So
oh, yeah, absolutely.
We'll just do it here. So, but thank you guys so very much for joining us here today. And I hope you guys, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to us here. I want to hit 2,000 subs by the end of the year, dude. For sure.
I think we can do that.
We can do that. Oh, and all of that, we got conventions coming up. I think we're going to be trying to do a booth at PopCon Indy.
Yeah, safe to say that.
This year. And we're going to probably do some like special recordings at our booth. We're just going to grab some attendees and pull them into our booth and say, you're going to do a podcast with us, whether you like it or not.
I think so, yeah.
We'll piece together some like maybe a special podcast from our booth or something like that. So
I know the guys that do food and beverages at convention center. So
ooh, okay.
We'll see. We'll talk about the food of the con.
All right. Anyway, be on the lookout at a convention near you for us. And I know like we got Squared Circle Expo coming up.
Oh yeah.
Stoked for PopCon Indy, PopCon Louisville, and quite a few others. But anyway, that is all for us here on the Next Level. We will see you guys on the next one. Later, guys.
See ya.
See ya.